Hello, everyone. This is the Celestial Storyteller, the channel that combines astrology and storytelling. And today we are going to start a new series, the Forecast series, where we look at the celestial drama unfolding each week. Today we will look at February's big energies and then we will move into the first week of the month. As a little side note before we delve into the forecast, the channel had a little name change. This is no longer written in the stars, but the celestial storyteller. I will, of course, still do some of the storytelling focused videos. However, this year I really want to dive into the forecasts, and the more storytelling focused videos might decrease a little bit. So, before we watch the weekly drama unfold, we should talk a little bit about the big things that will transpire in February. As the title of the video suggests, this month we will witness sudden new beginnings, a new age for our astrological gods, so to speak. But why am I saying this? First up, the lunar goddess and the solar god will meet for a solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. This is not just any old eclipse, but the first start of the Aquarius Leo eclipse cycle that will last until 2028. Eclipses can be about faded new beginnings and endings, as well as faded culminations, as they take place close to the nodes, the fate points. And because this solar eclipse happens close to the north node, the eclipse is all about moving forward into something new, something that lies in the future. Solar eclipse is a new moon taking place at the nodes, except here the sun will be hidden behind the moon. This is a time of renewal, the shedding of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. So we have the brand new start, not just in the eclipse itself, but also in the fact that it ushers in a new eclipse cycle, all taking place at the North Node, which is about moving forward into something new. But the eclipse isn't the only planetary alignment indicating change. Uranus, our lovely god of destruction and chaos, and the modern ruler of our solar eclipse, brings sudden changes for the sake of liberation. During February, he will go direct. This gives it an outward direction with sudden changes coming from the external world. Throughout February, Uranus will be triggered by Mercury, Venus, the Sun, and Mars as they move through Aquarius. Uranus is at the end of Taurus, so while the eclipse starts a whole new cycle, Uranus itself will wrap up an old cycle until April 2026. During this time, it will still be in the Taurus sector, and then it will move into Gemini. So, what's interesting here is that it will be triggered by the squares from the other planets, and these planets will be in his home sign in Aquarius. Taurus, the sign Uranus is in, is quite traditional, while Aquarius itself is more progressive and forward thinking. So there will be an interplay of old and new, of moving forward and sticking to what one already knows. All of this is accompanied by the transits of Mercury, Venus, and the Sun across the North Node in Pisces. This is going to be a little bit of a mixed energy because the North Node is involved. It will be about us moving towards something in the future, towards something new, but because it is still in Pisces, it will happen in the vein of the Virgo Pisces eclipse cycle that we are still in until February 2027. The eclipse cycles do overlap, so this is normal. But because the North Node is triggered, this will still bring in the energy of newness. And lastly, we have Saturn ingressing into Aries and moving into a conjunction with Neptune. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the spring point. And of course, spring kicks off a new cycle. Now, what is especially significant about this is that Neptune and Saturn are meeting at the 0 degree point of Aries. The 0 degree point is a critical degree, the very first degree of any sign. It beams with newness. It's the stroke of midnight, the dawn of a new day. In Aries, it is the very first moment of a new cycle. And here, Saturn and Neptune meet. The planet of rationality and reality, and the planet of imagination and fantasy, to usher in a new cycle in which dreams and reality can be aligned. These are all the reasons why February will mark faded and sudden new beginnings, and some endings as well, as they are always connected to new beginnings. But it is important to keep in mind that this is only the beginning of a new cycle. Saturn and Neptune will make their next conjunction in 2061. So this is about a 35-year long cycle. And during this time, at the beginning of the cycle, we might feel especially out of control. This is common for the eclipses in general, and it may be heightened with everything else going on. But whatever will be happening, especially if it is connected to the eclipses, will bring you to something that is more fated. Be sure to pay attention to what is happening right now and possibly the next 6 months as well as the next year during the Aquarius Leo eclipse cycle, because during this time Saturn will still be in Aries, and everything that will be initiated during this time, initiation being the big word here, can give clues toward this brand new beginning that starts this month. So this is it for the big energy of February, and it is big energy. It's really big. Um, but let's take a closer look at the celestial drama of the very first week of February. And this time we're using a little bit of storytelling to get into the different energies that are at play. A little disclaimer before we get into the stories. This is the overall energy, it's the general energy. This does not include how it hits your chart personally, and as such, everything I talk about will vary in the way you experience it. Today we venture into the realm of the gods to see what great things may unfold in the month of February. We find ourselves in Leo, the royal palace of the sun. Like every month, the moon goddess enters the glorious halls of her husband, but this time special. She is to be illuminated on her husband's golden throne, while the sun, the king god himself, watches her from the realm of Aquarius, alongside the other gods, Mercury, the messenger god, Venus, the goddess of desire, Mars, the god of strife, and Pluto, the god of transformation. On the throne, the lunar goddess may express in dramatic display how she feels and how she wants to be comforted. Here she will declare how the Queen of Gods is to be marveled at. This week kicks off with a Leo full moon on Sunday the 1st. The full moon marks a culmination of energy, likely started during the last Leo new moon in late July 2025. So think back about what you started during this time. It may now bear fruit. Leo is all about self expression, and the moon all about where we find a comfortable home to relax and be safe. Like the lunar goddess, this is to be done up on the throne by expressing authentically how we feel and what we need. During this time, we may be playful and creative, appreciative of our own unique light. And the other planets, they are to stand by and watch. Whatever will come to fruition may be a boost to your own confidence now. Your emotional needs will come to the forefront, while your thoughts, your desires, your motivations, your ambitions will be aligned with the group or with society because the other planets are placed in Aquarius. Whatever happens during this time, finding a place to be comfortably yourself while still being aligned to something bigger than yourself, a group, or even a cause, will become important. During this time, think about which people and which groups allow you to be yourself. Uranus, the god of chaos, changes course. Having backtracked through the eternal gardens of Taurus, examining what changes must be made, he now plows forward to realize his vision. Here an old tree must be cut, for it doesn't bear enough fruit to satiate us. There a new irrigation system must be employed, for it will grant a greater harvest to fulfill our needs. But for all the improvement he makes, the citizens of Taurus are an old-fashioned bunch, not too fond of novel ideas. Uranus, however, is here to teach them that unexpected may sometimes be needed. On the 4th, Uranus will go direct. A retrograde planet is inward focused. We may have undergone sudden changes and liberations internally, but now this energy shifts. It now comes from our external environment. So be ready for some sudden stuff happening. These changes will happen in Taurus, our eternal garden, the place where we try to stabilize our desires, to fix them into something permanent, so we can delight in them every day. Uranus will bring chaos into this part of our lives. We may, through sudden changes, notice that the things we thought we needed do not delight us anymore, that we have held on to them for longer than need be. Uranus wants to liberate us from clutching to things that no longer serve us, so we may move towards something better, so we don't become stuck. During this time, think about the eternal garden of Taurus and what things you still cultivate for comfort that are actually empty calories. Think about how you can improve on the way you render your desires permanent. Think about what trees you want to plant in the future. Mercury, the messenger god, traverses the electric tower of Aquarius, where all new inventions are fashioned for the gods. Surrounded with Uranus' eccentric ideas, the messenger god receives a flash of genius, a novel idea unheard before by the other gods, about how to best improve the eternal garden of Taurus. On the 5th, Uranus meets Mercury in a square, so prepare for a little bit of tension. Aquarius and Taurus are the signs in which this happens, and they are about progress and about tradition, respectively. So, this is where the tension comes from. The flashes of genius that Mercury in contact with Uranus promises might not be the most comfortable at this time. They might feel quite radical and over the top. This may be the first time we have an inkling about what needs to change, but because Uranus is also direct now, it might not come from inside of us, but be some information that is delivered to us from outside. This time, we may not like this information very much, but it will course correct so we may plant better trees in the future. This aspect may also take into account the full moon in Leo, that comfort we felt expressing ourselves authentically. Maybe what we have cultivated in our eternal garden no longer helps us expressing ourselves, and we now know that there needs to be change. So during this time, pay attention to any like novel ideas that come to you externally or internally, anything like radically happening concerning the information you get, because it might give you clues on what needs to change in your life. And do watch out whether the things that you have accumulated for yourself still fit your needs. Ask the question, do the trees in the eternal garden still satiate my needs? Are they authentically what I like? After a new and shocking information has been revealed to the messenger god, Mercury moves into the misty shores of Pisces, where visions manifest and mystical fog invites the gods to dream. On the 6th, just one day after Mercury has had his sudden realizations, he moves into Pisces. During this time, we will daydream about what could be instead of what is, with not much regard to realism. Pisces wants us to be open, to receive all possibilities and see which ones we like best. This is all about entering that magical land of our imagination to get in touch with our dreams. A truth far greater than physical reality. This isn't a mental Mercury. This is an emotional one. So be prepared to be swept up into the Piscean Ocean. During this time, allow yourself to dream, whether it could happen in reality or not, so that Saturn and Neptune can usher in a new cycle that aligns your dreams and your reality later. This is it for the celestial drama of February, especially for the first week. Of course, where in your life all of this is happening depends on how the houses align with the signs in your own chart. So be sure to look at your own chart. You can look at your Leo house to see where you will find comfort in expressing your own authenticity. You can look at your Taurus house to see which area of life will undergo sudden changes. You can look at your Aquarius house to see from which area of life new information may lead to sudden realizations. And finally, you can look at your Pisces house to find out what area of life you may be dreaming about. This is it for today's video. Let me know what you think about this new format or if anything could be improved. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. Or head back in a week to tell me about your weekly drama.